All right, I'm starting recording. And I'm going to say hello, selectors, and welcome back to the Life First podcast.
Hey,
I'm Andrew. That's not Tiffany. That is Ben.
Hey, I'm Ben.
Ben's one of my locals. He is over today. Tiffany is sick, so I asked if Ben would sub in for Tiffany here, and he said he would do it.
Yeah, I said yeah, sure.
So we're gonna be chatting a bit about the lack of There wasn't supposed to be a pre-release.
Well, we still had a pre-release.
But we did a pre-release anyways at my locals in Atlanta, which is cool. I have actually heard from various stores they've still supported various like locals, right? Like local pre-releases, even though the set didn't come with a pre-release, and like how some stores have done that. So like I've heard, for example, some stores have done when they opened up a bunch of singles to sell online, they made pre-built decks of like you pick your center, or you randomize, get chosen, given a center, and you get that pre-built deck, and then you guys just like play against each other with the pre-built decks. I've heard some people do draft where they like played it like Magic Draft would be, where you open a pack, you take one, you pass along.
We did talk about a little bit of that, but I wasn't really sure of how that would happen.
Yeah, me neither. What we did was we like scuffed pre-releases at our
It's always scuffed.
Yeah,
it's always scuffed.
We genuinely like the RNG for it. So what we did was our locals, which was Quest Comics, had leftover pre-release kits from like Diva and oh god, what was the other one? Diva and Fasone, I think.
Fasone, I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so what we did was we shuffled them, like the packs, and handed out random packs. And you could use the assists in the packs, you could use the servants in the packs, you could use the piece in the packs, but you couldn't use the center. You'd have to use a level 3 center that you opened up.
Yeah.
So that was you had some flexibility and choice there. But you could use the level 0s through 2s as like as proxies if you wanted to do that. We ended up doing that. I got Tamago.
Yeah, and I played Carnival.
Yeah, and it was actually really well. And we opened up 10 packs instead of
we opened up. Yeah, that's why it felt more consistent.
Yeah, definitely. I think the added packs helped out a lot, but it did feel more consistent. And I think everyone, Rill was there. I think maybe Guzuko was the only L rig that didn't get represented.
I think you're right. I
think Rill got represented twice.
There were 2 liberations. There was I think like 3 defense. I feel
2. It was 2 defense because Tiffany and I did Tamago. Tiffany did Lion.
Right.
You did Carnival.
I did Carnival.
So that was War.
Yeah. Jimmy did.
Jimmy did Rill, and so did.
Okay.
Yeah. So did Emma. So we had two Rills, and then 1 Eldora. So Guzuko was the only one that was not represented at our table. It could have been. Jimmy was on the fence as to which one to do. I remember.
Yeah.
But it ended up being really fun, right? We had fun. I got last place. It wasn't fun for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know this. Layla's not a great assist, but I was sort of forced into it, and it like kamikazed me every game.
Yeah, she's tough. She's real tough.
Yeah. So who? At the end, the winner was Rill.
Yeah, I believe so. It was Emma, wasn't it?
Yeah. This is the highest placement Rill's probably ever gonna get in Wixoss. Literally, I can hear people furiously typing on the in the comments down below, yelling at me for saying that. It was fun. We ended up like all kind of. There was not enough to do one.
No, we had to do splitsies.
Yeah, one division. We had to do splitsies no matter what. But that ended up being pretty interesting, seeing how those overlaps went. So what did you end up?
I ended up with War, and I think some defense, but I mostly focused on War.
Yeah, and I was on defense and Liberation.
Yeah, Liberation
was the other one that I was on. Yeah, and that was because there was that overlap in blue that. I also think that was like the only access for me to get like lane opening was that red lane opening that I could get with Liberation. Um, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. I felt like my pool was cracked. I got costume, which is like Tamago's actual thing. I got Tamago,
Mm,
but like a shiny Tamago, so that was cool.
sick.
Um, and I got the defense piece, so I was able to have two gates on.
Yeah,
Still not enough for me to win.
yo, really, really was.
It really wasn't. Any chance I had destroyed by Layla, but also I just don't think defense was the way to go in sealed. I think it
Yeah,
was probably war or liberation.
yeah, something a bit more aggressive.
Yeah,
Something that could, get through the library fast. Because I got second place right,
yeah.
but I was eked out of that because I cycled through my deck twice. From yeah, that was insane.
Yeah, I don't think this is the format for slow and steady wins either race.
Hmm.
I think it's not that. I think it's
Yeah.
speedy wins either race.
Hmm.
Um, so that's how it went for us. I think we all had fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Having access to 10 coins, it was pretty nice.
Yeah, 10
Pretty
coins
nice.
is crazy. Well, it gave us a good taste of the format, though, which is right. Like, that's
Hmm.
cool. Like, Tiffany's not here right now because she's sick. But when we were on the car ride home, she was talking about how she likes the pre releases because they always give her a chance to get, like, a taste of what this sort of stuff does.
Yeah, and I like the pre-releases because I'm not super competitive, and I like when everybody's on the same playing field.
It is pretty funny to, like, me and Tiffany are probably the sweatiest at our groups. And like, we historically don't do super well at the pre-release because you're not in control of like
Yeah, there's no control
yeah
at
yeah
all.
yeah they like it's like I get blown out by bursts no matter what.
We're
So
all
like
beholden by the bursts.
yeah, it's very much like we joke we call it the scuffed wars, and it's basically it's just scuffed.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure that's how I beat Jimmy. Like he was about to like beat me, and then I managed to freeze his last attack, and I was like, "Yep, that's it.
That's scuffed. It's
That's
just,
it."
that's what you do when you're like in this. You're like that's scuffed. Okay, cool. I lost. All right, moving on.
And there's no hard feelings because everybody knows what they're walking into.
Yeah. I enjoy pre-releases. They're a different part of my body that are a little less competitive. I did get salty at
You were
I did
massively,
get very mad at
massively
Layla for
salty.
like guys. I have worked very hard to like not be a rage quitter or anything like because I was in my early years more like that. I think a lot of card game people are.
Yeah.
I've minimized it. Like it's like, all right, after a loss I need to take like 5 minutes. After a loss I've taken 3 minutes. After a loss I need to take like 1 minute. I've got like down to like 10 seconds now, where it's like I've got 10 seconds to like just like be like, okay, bring it back. It's fine. Go back to Zen. You're okay.
Hmm.
That 10 seconds was an intense seconds of hatred towards Layla. Every time I had the win on the board and it would make me discard my guard, I'd be like, all right.
100%,
stupid.
100% Layla hate. We're anti Layla here right now. That's going to be the title of this video.
Yeah, luckily Layla doesn't have so many supporters that, unlike Rill, who's now angry at me for saying that that's the highest Rill's ever gonna win. Like everyone who likes Layla is like, yeah, it's me, yeah, it's fine. It's not great. um. Anyways, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining me. Thanks for talking about some of these cards. We're gonna actually talk about some. What is this set called? Divination.
Divisions
Diva.
At least that's the
Yeah,
translation.
Divisions Diva. Yeah, that's it. So we're gonna put that on there. This is gonna be a little bit of a weirder one, right? Like normally I pull up the card list, but the card list isn't updated yet, and I want to get this out ahead of time. And then if I don't do the card list, I end up doing Dexys. But Dexys is currently down for some maintenance period because there's some big things happening with Dexys later, which is great. This is your shout out, I guess, that I always try to do. If you like Dexys and you use it as a deck builder like I do,
Shout out
maybe
to Texas.
maybe you want to join their Patreon to make sure they can keep doing these updates and stuff. It's one man crew,
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about some of this stuff. But I think the first thing to talk about is probably the divisions themselves, right? And they're called factions in the Japanese translation. So it's called divisions in the English translation. But we've got liberation, we've got war, and we've got defense, right? And although I may have said liberations is the best in limited, right? I don't think liberations is the best probably in really real life, you know. In really real life, it feels like Liberation's probably very average. And that's got to go with the fact that like Liberation's gimmick is like
It was Rise.
yeah, you basically rise for yeah, blatant terms. It's like you've got to put stuff under a Signy or you've got to rise on top of a Signy. Either way, you end up with like something underneath.
Like like one or two cards underneath the card.
Yeah. And the more stacking, you know, the better the card gets. In deck building, we call that an A plus B formula. Because to get the thing that your payoff that you're trying to do, you need like enabler and payoff in order to like do the thing. So it's A plus B, right? And A plus B famously struggles because you need to have both. If you have A and A, it's not very good. If you have B and B, not very good, right? Whereas the other two divisions aren't A plus B. They're just sort of like there. It's like always works without fail. No setup required.
Like an instant payoff.
Yeah, exactly. Payoff. So I think Liberation Division has the hardest job, the hardest hill to climb up.
Which is ironic because there's already a struggle faction.
Yeah, exactly. So like looking at their piece, like this piece is really good, right? Like it's called Liberator's Force. This piece is fantastic. It's a Dream Team piece, costs only one colorless, so you can pay it with anything, right?
That's pretty good.
And you draw 3 cards. You can discard a Liberation faction.
What?
If you do, you just crush an opponent's life cloth.
Yeah, what the heck?
Crazy, I know. And Tiffany was running it at the pre-release too. And then your Center Elrig gets the following ability for the duration of the game. It also continues to have this ability as you grow. It's exceed 4, put 2 Liberation faction on your trash underneath a Liberation faction Signy on your field. Basically gives you at least one easy go for like its shtick.
Yeah.
Crushing a life cloth at one enter is really good. Crushing a life cloth and drawing 3 is insane.
Yeah, it's insane.
The putting the Liberation faction Signy under some Signy you control, right? Also good, right?
Yeah, and it all works together too. You draw the 3 cards, discard a Liberation card that you drew to fuel your Exceed 4. That's pretty neat.
Yeah. If I was to be running Liberation, it's probably this is the payoff, right? That I'm looking for. And yeah, there's payoffs in the actual like deck itself, the main deck. This is probably the main payoff I'm looking to do. Let's talk about some of that Liberation stuff, right? It probably makes most sense to go over this where we talk about Liberation, then we talk about War, then we talk about Defense. And then I guess we talk about anything else that's worth mentioning. So the two Elrigs we've got for the Liberation faction is Rill and Eldora. Eldora's not really good. Rill's not really good. They both exist. Often, what's interesting is if you look in the Japanese meta, there's some success towards Liberation faction in general, but that success is seen mostly as a main deck thing that's not using the 2 Elrigs that are attached to it. So a lot like how we might see the Dishona package showing up in other decks that aren't Dishona Elrigs.
Yeah, it's just consistent.
Yeah, and it's just like the payoffs for these Elrigs is just not really all that high. Rill is tough. Like there's not really a ton of rise that you're really trying to do, especially rise at 2 enter to like really take advantage of. And then it's once per game, put 2 target Liberation faction Signy from your trash underneath 2 Elrig or 2 Signy on your field is good, right? But then you have to compare it to something like Carnivals, which is like get 5 extra coins, which is huge. You need instantaneous. You can use all those 5 coins right there if you want for instant snowballing effect. Or Defense, which puts these gates on the field. And the gates just get better the longer the games go on, and that is Defense's whole shtick is to make the games go on forever. So it's just like this gets you 1 payoff, and it's like good for 1 turn, and then nothing else.
Yeah, you gotta make sure that is the last turn.
Yeah, and Liberation's also like they really need like a lot of cards flowing through their hands constantly because you gotta put stuff in the trash, you gotta bring them on. So they really need like a ton of cards. So it's one of those things where it's like, well, why not just use an Elrig that gets you more of that card flow, right? Yeah, Eldora draws you 2 cards on its enter, but there are other Signy that literally, Elrigs that literally draw you a card every turn, right? And that's just more consistent. And then once per turn is draw a card or enter charge 1. Can only be used if there's 2 or more cards underneath Signy on this field. You kind of want the cards in hand so you can put them under the Signy, not the opposite way, where you need the Signy on the field. You gotta get cards in your hand in order to put them on the field. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of backwards. Doesn't exactly work out the way that you want.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and then some standouts for like Liberation Faction, right? Let's just scroll down to it. There's not a ton. There's only a few, which is crazy. I actually skipped over all of the SRs. Like I just was like, nope, and just skipped by them and went, oh, maybe I should scroll back and talk about them. And then I remembered I don't think they're good. So maybe I don't talk about them. It's so dumb. They're not that good. These ones that do stuff. They do a thing if you've got your partner Elrig up. So if you're running Rill, you probably should run Simon. But if you're not running Rill and you want to run Liberation Division, excuse me, you're not running Simon, right? And that's how that works. But you've got some good ones in red, right? Like Yuzuki the Door, right? Is pretty good. And I weirdly get seen in like Japanese play even now, pretty niche, but it does show up, where its whole shtick is that it can be a 7k. Cool, that's fine. It's not superly important.
It's all right, yeah.
But the fact that I can just free enter burn your opponent when it's under something is actually used as a toolbox thing in certain decks. I think it's Sachet is the one that like opens the lane, right?
Sachet.
Yeah, Sachet. It's Firecracker. You discard a Liberation Faction, vanish target Signy on the opponent's field of 5k or less. And then the constant is the card on top of it gets vanish something 3,000 or less at the beginning of attack phase.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Very consistent.
Donna being a good one as well, right? Like Donna is this. I think Donna was a standout at our pre-release.
Actually, yeah.
I think Donna was really good at her pre-release. I remember every time I used it, I felt great. Pay red, discard something, vanish something 8k or less.
It was very relevant because we didn't pull a lot of 3ks, ironically.
Yeah, so it was
or 3 costs.
Yeah, so it was killing mostly everything in the pre-release, but I also think it's just a good card in general. And then you can pay an enter, you can target Liberation Faction in your trash, put it under the Signy. It's one of the few times that you can do that like freely, easily. So worth mentioning. And then as far as the blue stuff goes, I'm skipping over the spells and stuff because they're all not good for standard play. But you got Paraluke, who is Alice Paraluke, who's really good for this. You can discard a Liberation Faction from your hand. If you do, your opponent discards 1 card from your hand. We all know this effect, this Monument effect, is good, right? So it's always a solid choice. The above thing is at the beginning of your attack phase, like if you put something on top of it.
Yeah.
At the beginning of your attack phase, you can discard a card from your hand. If you do, the opponent discards a card from their hand at random.
Always good.
Random's way better.
Way better.
And it also has a life burst, right? This is one of those times where that effect has a life burst attached to it. That is very rare. So kind of cool that it's got a life burst attached to it. Outside of that, I don't know. It's not really the best of the 3 options that you can choose from for if you want divisions. Let's talk about the War division, right? Power of Struggle. So Power of Struggle is interesting because I think the War division is like pretty good.
I think so.
But I also think it gets a lot of its power in the next set, not necessarily this set. So it's kind of like we're going to get in this world where like division is the best, but War division is pretty good. Like in what they represent, what they do is good.
Yeah.
Right?
They have a pretty solid identity right now.
Yeah. And like look at this piece, man. It's nuts. Look at all these options that you get.
Yeah, Power Struggle.
Yeah, I guess you were using. Did you open that in your pre-release kit?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
That's
so
pretty neat.
yeah, you got a little bit more experience than it with me. Uh, you can grab 2 struggles Signy from your field and put it, or from your trash.
Yeah, trash and put it on the field, which helped me a lot.
Yeah.
And choosing a struggle fashion insignia on your field, giving it S Lancer, also very nice. Putting the top 10 cards of your opponent's deck into their trash, also very nice.
Mill.
And then the last option, all your insignia get plus 10,000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn.
Yeah.
Which, grants me, a turn. It granted me at least 1 turn. And it made my opponent think a lot more in their turn.
Yeah, I do think if the opponent can't vanish based on level, right? That 10k, like you just made your 2k a 12k, you made your 3k a 13k.
Yeah.
It feels like it's gonna be hard to open up a lane there, right? Like even with like Lancer, right? You're like, what are you gonna do against a 22,000?
Yeah.
Right? That's huge.
It's massive, which is probably why, like, you at this point, you probably want to do the 10,000 power and then the S answer. And that pretty much gets through anything on your opponent's board.
Yep.
You're definitely guaranteed at least 1 or 2 hits with this piece, I feel.
Yeah, and I think it's worth mentioning that, like, okay, so defense spoilers. Defense is probably the deck to beat in the future, right?
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that as an aggro player.
No. It's probably the deck to beat. If you want to beat it, I think War does a really good. Like this piece on its own does a lot to make me as a defense player be like, ugh, right? Like I discard you down to 0. Woo! Oh, you just got your best 2 cards back to your hand. That's fine. You can't do damage to me because I got these. Wow, I refreshed.
Yeah.
Well, hold up. It's fine. It doesn't matter. I have these walls, and they're gonna hold together. Oh, you've got Lancer. Okay, cool. Cool. I guess I am losing. I'm losing 2 damage, and my discard did nothing to you, right? Like it's pretty good.
It's pretty nice.
And so let's talk about like what War division does just basically in general, right? As a division, their whole thing is they get coins, right?
Yes.
And when we're talking about A plus B with the Liberation faction, right? A plus B in this deck is coins and things that spend coins.
Yes. Yeah.
But
you always have access to those coins.
Yeah, you always have the coins. What did you do to earn the coins? The answer is
what I always do. Just
grow.
That's all you do.
Yeah, exactly. So and it's like 5 coins can do a lot. 10 coins is arguably double, right?
Yeah. No, it always feels great.
So
you're always up.
So yeah, it's one of those things where. And like the coin payouts for this is great. The coins basically give you either negative effects, let you grab cards from your trash. They give Lancer, or they
yes,
or they enter charge you, right? Like those are the 4 things that you get from doing the coin stuff with War division.
Those were definitely the things I primarily did. Like, let me see, which ones? Going through all these cards.
Yeah, it takes time, man. What's nice about it is those 4 things all sort of counter what defense is doing, right? Like defense is trying to make it so you don't have any enter, you don't have any cards in hand, and you can't open up holes. And War's like, well, actually, I have Lancer, so I can open up holes. Well, actually, I can get cards from my trash really easily, so I have cards in hand.
Yeah. And they have a lot of abilities that negative their power, so that you can get through those walls even easier.
Yeah, helps assist your Lancer, or like alternatively, right? Like
and a lot of passive effects depending on how many coins you spend. You get additional, auto effects, which is really, really good.
Right, and not only that, it's in green, so you get enter, right? You get resources that way, but also coins kind of count as enter, right? Like You think about it.
Actually, yeah.
Right, coins are a resource to spend to get something. That's exactly what enter is.
Yeah.
So, and I, as a defense player, I can't strangle you off of coins. You just get them.
True.
So,
True, yeah.
so it's not like I can enter burn you, or I can say, hey, this goes to the trash, so you don't earn the enter, like defense. You just get it.
Yeah, it's just there. You start the game with it. You already have, what was it, like 3 enter already?
Yeah, and then you get another 2, and then you get another 5. You know, so it's like your payments are pretty good.
Okay.
I have Carnival pulled up on my screen because I think that's the better of the two in the long run.
I haven't seen Guzuko being played, so...
Yeah, Guzuko, let's talk about Guzuko too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guzuko, you get coins.
Worthless Queen of Greed.
Yeah, you get coins. Your enter effect is to put 3 cards from your deck to your trash and then grab a struggle signy from your trash, put it in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. Gives you your best card, right? For your grow turn, which is on your turn 3. Once per turn, you can discard a struggle faction from your hand, and then you can give target signy on the opponent's field -5k.
Okay.
It's good. Reminder: defense division is putting out like 15Ks.
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane to me.
So it's not exactly guaranteed to open up a lane.
Yeah, it's not.
And then you get your coins, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Carnival is better.
Yeah, I think so too.
Carnival offers some other stuff. It enter charges you.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. Not only does it enter charge you, it color fixes you too, which is really nice. And then you can spend an enter and grab. This is what your once per turn. You can spend an enter and grab the best struggle faction from your enter zone and put it to your hand.
Yeah.
So you're always playing the cards that are gaining you value, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably really good in the meta in general. And then of course you get the gain extra 5.
Yeah.
To anyone who's asking about like this, you may only spend coins on spells or signy for the duration of games. What does that limit you on? The answer is nothing in our format. You can't spend it on L-rigs. You can't spend coins on L-rigs anyways right now because there's no L-rigs that use coins.
Yeah.
So that's what's there. It's a limiter for All-Star,
Mm-hmm.
not for us.
Also, I guess it's good to clarify if there is a limit to how many coins we have. Like
5 at any point in
just
time.
5 at any point in time.
Yeah, so if you were to use that ability and you had 4 coins, you'd get an extra 1, and that would be it.
Yeah, so make sure you spend those coins wisely and efficiently.
Well, good segue. There's a lot of cards that in Struggle do spend those coins well.
Mm-hmm.
Scrolling down, it is worth mentioning. Like, all right, unlike I scrolled right past the what do you call it? It's the SRs for the last division. I'm not doing it for this division. This division's got some cool ones, right? Like Fratos, the Door Natural Planet Queen. I
haven't even seen her.
Yeah. This is the partner signy for Carnival. Which is just it's action. You could pay green, right?
Yeah, holy shoot.
And you can just gain Lancer or S-Lancer depending on the scenario.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Lancer on demand has always been very strong in Wixoss.
Yeah, holy okay. Wow. Why didn't I have her in my games? Man.
You would have gotten first place if you had her.
That's insane.
And you also can spend a coin if you do. The Signy gets plus 3,000 power till end of turn. Till the end of your opponent's next turn. So it stays at 13k on the defense, which is pretty good. Again, mid-range is the kind of deck that wants to play half defense, half offensive. Mm-hmm. That screams mid-range to me.
Yeah, holy shit.
And it's at a once per turn action.
Not.
You can be like 16k if you want. You put a whole 5 in there.
You can figure 25k.
Yeah. Easy.
Hold on, you could potentially make her a 40k.
If you're
Warhammer crazy enough,
Warhammer be clutching right now at this 40k.
That's insane.
And it's got a life burst. It's not the best life burst in the world, but it's pretty good.
I mean, paired with the other, like, what was it, like Miko, I believe. There's like a couple more cards. It could be it's a life burst. Now, this is why I'm not competitive.
Now you got some good ones, right? Nashi is the next one to talk about. I like this one a lot. I think it's probably a 2 of in your deck. I don't think it's crazy. But Nanashi is they all just got guns. It was like Blue Archive happened, and then our Elrigs were like, "Oh, we can use guns. We got this."
Yeah, they that's what the doors were for. A door to Blue Archive open, and all that fell out were a bunch of guns.
Yeah, they just went down south. They were like, "Oh, free guns."
Free guns.
At the beginning of your attack phase, you can enter charge 1. If you paid coins, you can enter charge 2. Enter charge 2 is a lot.
That is insane.
And you can pay coin. This gets Shadow Signy level 3, or sorry, Shadow level 3 or higher, so it doesn't get hit by your opponent's Elrig effects. But also gets Shadow on your turn, which means that it does have Shadow from life bursts from level 3 Signy.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I there's not a non-zero amount of games where like an Exia will get flipped and you'll be like, that's fine. This is a level 3. It's got Shadow. You can't do that. Draw your card. And then you can pay 2 coins and a green and shuffle all the cards from your trash to your deck. Just a nice way to be like, I'm not milling out.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, I think that part is probably the least relevant, but it still exists, right? And Aya is also here as a level 3 that I like in this deck. On your turn, whenever you pay 1 or more coins, you can pick a struggle faction from your Signy from your trash and put it into your field. Right? That's basically Heenanim. We all know Heenanim was a great card. You pay a coin, you mill yourself 3. That would enable more fuel. I think you're probably not spending it that way. You could probably be spending it on S-Lancer and just getting a free card to your hand anyways, or to your field. You pay 2 coins. The next time this Signy attacks, put the top 6 cards of your opponent's deck into the trash this turn. 6 is not a lot. Reminder, you're probably playing Power Struggle. That mills your opponent 10. 16 is a lot.
It is a lot.
So pretty good. Let's talk about some of the Signy here that are not the SRs.
Yes.
I gotta review some of them myself. Mililun! This is a good one.
Mililun?
Yeah, when it's a level 1 2000, whenever this Signy attacks, if 2 or more coins were spent this turn, you enter charge 1.
Oh yeah, I had her a couple of times. It wasn't
for sealed, yeah.
Yeah, for sealed was in 9/11, but yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, if you're getting enter burned, you start off like, well, I'm just gonna start off with an enter charge 2 here. The opponent's gonna be like, God damn it.
Yeah, even more resources.
And
the comment that you said about the coins being enter, it just replenishes itself basically.
Yeah, it just basically pays for itself. And then Layla is the other one. And I think Layla is one of the main reasons you'd want to play this deck.
Right? Yes. Yeah, I remember her. Yep.
Like, it's basically a level 1, 7k with Lancer, right? That stays 7k on your opponent's turn. That's pretty damn good, right? And then if you have out Mililun, then that's a boom. You got yourself a. Yeah, what's crazy is like you could put a Layla out and a Layla, right? Turn 1.
Yeah.
Put a Layla out in the open lane. Put a Layla in the closed lane. Spend 2 coins to get the Lancer on this one. The other Layla still sees it and turns into a 7k.
Yep,
you got to board a 7k on turn 1.
Yeah.
Doing nothing.
As long as you do 2 separate coin actions, not 2 coins in general. It has to be you pay 1 coin ability.
Oh yeah, you're right. So what I'm explaining doesn't work, but
but still,
Lancer does work.
5k. Yeah. There's not a lot of if you're going in second, that's not.
No, pretty good. A life burst again. It's rare to see life bursts on Signy that also deal damage, right? Like open lanes or attack through lanes.
Yeah, there's a lot of pretty good life bursts just spread out amongst the cards.
Yeah, and never underestimate Green's ability to life burst into enter charge and then make control players really sad that they can't enter Starview. And then there's Mama, right? And Mama's insane.
Oh yeah, I like Mama.
This card's crazy.
Yeah,
man.
she can potentially get rid of two cards. Oh, it's
on her own,
all by herself. Yeah. Oh my
Well,
gosh.
her action's not a once per game or once per turn action either. She theoretically could open up all 3 lanes on her own.
Yes, that's theoretically if you can get 6 coins. Wait, no, you
You
can't.
can.
You can actually.
You can.
Wait,
We're
you
playing in a
can.
world
I
post
forgot.
5.
You're right. Just do it once. Once per game with your carnival. Then do it again. Then you open up a lane, and if they have a level 1 Signy on the board as well.
Yeah, Mama's a little expensive, but
Mhm.
still, the fact that you can do it,
Mm-hmm.
pretty damn good.
Yeah. Struggle Faction has a lot of options just to just eke through, do damage.
Dude, we just talked about the green. We didn't even
Yeah.
move on to see how long we're spending on this versus the liberation factions.
Yeah, I used all 3 of these cards. They were great in the pre-release. They were great in limited. They'll probably be great in constructed.
Yeah, Yuka is probably worse because it does give you a free -2,000, arguably. But spending 3 coins to just give one thing -8,000 is probably not amazing. But it's okay. It's a level 1. It's good to know that it exists there.
Yeah, not super great actually. Yeah.
Maho Maho mills you cards, right? It's Maho Maho's gimmick is it's always milling.
Yeah, look at the top 5. No, wait. Yeah. Put the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck into the trash if you paid a total of 1 or more coins.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you probably want to use her with your... If you wanted to have that 7k Layla, then you probably want to use Maho Maho, because her action is also twice per turn.
Yeah, but her action's not
great. It's not super great.
It's not great. So, yeah, the black is arguably worse when it comes to like this. But Miko is pretty good if I remember right.
Yeah, I like Miko.
Do you save it? When the Signy attacks, if you paid a total of 1 or more coins this turn, you can pay black. If you do, target Signy on the opponent's field gets -5,000. If you paid 5 or more coins, which I don't think you will do, but it's an option, you get -8,000 instead. And you can pay 1 coin to do -2,000. So it's going to randomly snipe. Okay, the big thing is it's going to kill a 7k. A lot of the times, right? The 2 together are going to add up to 7k, and that's going to be a good number. But you will have a non-zero amount of times where you play this and you snipe a 2k. And also, like, especially if people are playing like Blue Archive still, which has a bunch of 2ks, you also will be able to snipe a 5k or lower. So there is a world where Miko is also opening up 2 lanes on their own.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good in the early game. Yeah. So, all right, we talked about the what do you call it? It's the
Struggle Faction.
Well, I guess they're called War Faction.
That's right, War Faction.
Yeah. So let's talk about defense, right?
Yeah. This one you have more experience in.
Yeah. I just spent like 20 minutes hyping up the War Faction, only to now say that it's probably worse than Defense Faction still, right? Like. Yeah. Defense basically does everything that Azusa was doing as a Blue Archive deck, but better, because it's just more consistent, right? Like, it has the core of your regardless of if it's a Tamago control deck or a Lion Tempo deck, the core of your defense deck is running Wolf, running Bang, and running Musica. And then the next set, there's going to be another one, Senga. And these 3 cards you run basically as a 4 of, right? So you've got 12 cards in your deck that all say the same thing, which is don't let your opponent have enter.
Yeah.
Which is a lot at level 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Right? That's really early to be like, my opponent doesn't get enter. I'm the only one allowed to pay for things. Defense whole shtick is to put out these gates, right? So the open gate piece allows you to put a gate in your field as early as turn 1.
For no enter at all.
No enter at all. You just automatically start with 1 gate. And then you get another gate at turn 3 when you grow to turn 3, right? Its action is exceed 4, gain a Signy barrier, or the other one is exceed 4 and draw 4 cards. You can only choose one. Generally speaking, here's your math. Against every deck that isn't an opponent's mirror match defense Signy deck, right? Defense division deck, you're choosing the Signy barrier.
Yeah.
And then against other defense decks where it's like whoever has the hand at the end of day wins, you're probably drawing 4. That's probably how that works.
Yes.
But like we said, defense, whole shtick trying to make sure that you don't have resources to work with. The first one is Tamago the Professor. Its enter ability is freeze an Elrig on your opponent's field. Much better than you'd think it would be. Because when you're trading, like when you're playing a game where it's like, I'm only gonna allow 1 or 2 damage on my turn to hit me, and I'm going to only do 1 or 2 damage to you.
Mm-hmm.
Stopping your opponents from being able to attack with their Elric once means that you're winning that race now. It's a really long tortoise race to win, but you're winning anyways, and that's pretty good. You can down an upped defense Signy in order to draw a card or make your opponent discard a card.
Mm-hmm.
It's a control deck. They're looking for excuses to down their Signy. Because if they down their Signy, that means they're not going to get hit by a life burst. It also means they don't have to attack your Signy and give you enter, right?
Yeah.
So it plays into the shtick. And then the once per game action is you can put a gate on your Signy zone.
Yes.
Gates are the key to this deck. Lion plays very similar. It's also going to enter Starve you, but its enter abilities look at the top 5. You can put a defense faction into your hand and put the rest on the bottom. So you could basically draw 1. And then its once per turn is that you can down an up defense faction, return target Signy on the opponent's field with power 8,000 or less to its owner's hand.
Oh, it's annoying.
Opens a lane.
So annoying.
Yeah, very similar to the way that like Tama operates, where it's like it does a couple it does damage to the opponent while simultaneously not giving you resources to work with.
Mm-hmm.
This is just the better version of it coming up. So if you liked the way that Tama played, MC Lion plays very, very similar. Scrolling right along down into our partner Signy. Both are good. Both are good. Nothing negative to say here. Right? You've got the options between costume. And like costume is, first off, click. Have you seen costume?
I'm looking at costume.
It's good. Do you realize that that's just Tamago's like mascot costume she normally wears?
It's Tamago? Wait, what?
That's not Tamago. Do you remember Tamago's normally in that fluffy costume?
Wait, yeah.
That's the costume. Her partner Signy, she took off
the costume has
and the
gained
costume's
sentience?
come to life.
Well, that's what?
And is sexy, I guess.
Apparently.
It's a good looking costume.
Sure.
Yeah, this is a good card in the fact that basically what it reads is that you can pay 2 blue and you can just deprive even more enter, right? You put target Signy on the bottom of their deck.
Yeah.
So you're depriving even more, but you're also opening the lane.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Bottom decking, there's not a lot of cards that bottom deck.
She also, the cool thing is she doesn't bottom deck what's in front of her. She bottom decks any Signy.
Oh, ooh.
Which means that you can leave her in like you can put your 8,000 attacker here.
Mm-hmm.
So if they vanish it, you're still left with a 12k.
Mm.
You know, that you've downed to make the opponent discard a card or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
The other one is Loudspeaker. L speaker, the door code heart.
Very cool.
This one's whole shtick is it pumps your Signy, right? Which is pretty good. It gives you more walls. But you can also pay white. If you do, when it attacks, you get to up it again. So just like we were talking about with Tama, open a lane, put this Signy here, attack twice.
That's great.
Yeah. Very good. Very good Signy. But that's not all. Love It, the door is pretty good.
Okay.
Love It, the door is a 15k, right? Because you put it on the gate, so it becomes 15k.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got 15k with Shadow.
Oh my god.
How are you killing
Just
that?
Shadow.
How are you killing that? Like
No
outside of Lancer occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
And even then it's a 15k, right?
You can't do anything to her at all. You can't minus her power. You can't send her away. You just have to punch as hard as you can.
No, and at the end of the turn, if she's still alive, right, she gets you back a guard.
Really? Wait, what?
Yes,
No way.
Vortex.
That's so annoying.
Yeah, very good card. This is what I'm talking about. Like,
Yeah.
almost every single one of the defense cards are good, right? So
Yeah,
this
no,
is
there's,
this
like,
is
no-
why
No downside.
very oppressive coming up, right?
Mhm.
Nova is an insane card. Also, really cool art. Nova's an insane card. Level 3, 12k. At the
Mhm.
beginning of your attack phase, if there's a gate on your field, you get to draw 2 cards and discard 1 card from your hand.
Not bad.
So you discard your worst card, a level 1 at this point in the late game, right?
Mhm.
But you do draw 2 cards. One of those might be a guard. One of those might be more gas for later.
More, yeah.
And then when this attacks, your opponent discards a card from their hand. If the Signy is on the same zone as a gate, they discard another card from their hand.
Discarding two cards.
Not only did they discard 2 cards, you went up 1 card,
Yeah.
right? Because you drew 2, discarded 1. But not only did you draw 2 and discard 1, you didn't discard from the 2 that you drew. You discarded the worst card from your hand. So in some cases, that feels like drawing 2.
The worst card from additionally the 2 cards that you drew, because it's draw 2 cards then discard.
Yeah, it's
everything.
brainstorm, right? It's like real good.
So good.
So can you just a single one of these, right? If you have 2 of these on the field, you put them both on a gate, right?
Mhm.
You went from like having 1 card in hand to 3 cards in hand, right?
Mhm.
And your opponent just lost 4 cards.
Yeah.
So imagine this: they're at 6 cards in hand. You have 1 card in hand, right? They are now at 2 cards in hand, and you have 3. How did that happen?
It's just-
How are you winning this?
The power of gates.
That's what I'm saying. It's crazy. Okay,
Crazy.
and we didn't even talk about their like comments yet.
Yeah, not even. I don't even want to look at these anymore.
I know.
But I'm gonna have to look at these across the table.
Yeah,
for the
I'm
next couple
playing it.
months.
I have it sleeved up right there, ready to go.
Man.
Buddy.
Oh no.
Musica is a good one, right?
Yeah, musical is so annoying because she never not has her constant ability.
Yeah, she's an 8K.
Always an 8K.
In the early game and usually the late game, and she just trashes something on your opponent's field.
Mm-hmm.
Great, fantastic, good card.
Just anything.
Yeah, that ability was reserved for like level 3s back in the day,
Yeah,
and now we're just like, here they are, level 1. All right, you got X, right?
Yeah.
And everyone knows I love a Haniel, and this is like a Haniel version variant.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Reveal defense faction Signy from among them. Put into your hand. You can't get a guard.
Yeah.
That is worth mentioning. It is worse because you can't get a guard.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's in the same zone as a gate, it gets plus 10,000 power. To be clear, not on your opponent's turn, just in general.
Just
so
in
it's,
general.
so it kills 13Ks. Like on attack.
Just they put a 2 cost down. You can just swipe that away with your 1 cost.
You're like cute 8K.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's got a light burst, which is pretty good. It's good card.
Good card.
Very good card. Very good card. And then
what can we say?
And then we went to Wolf, right? So this is like part of the core that I was talking about here. Wolf basically gives it's not keyworded yet, but it basically gives shoot to something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as long as it's the same gate, same Signy zone as a gate, you enter charge 1, which is, for what it's worth, actually really good.
Yeah.
You may not think your deck needs an enter charge 1, especially a white control deck, but you may be up against another white control deck that's enter denying you, and suddenly you do need that enter charge 1. But that's not even the reason you'd run it. The reason you'd run it is because you choose target Signy on the opponent's field, and if it would be vanished this turn, you just put it into the trash instead of the enter zone.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really...
Oh no, you wait, is that the official translation you choose, or
At the beginning of your attack phase, if there's a gate on your field, target Signy on the opponent's field. You target a Signy on the opponent's field. If it would be vanished by battle this turn, it would go to the trash instead of the enter zone.
Okay, so you do have to choose.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you don't have to choose the card in front of it. You don't have to... It doesn't kill the thing.
Gotcha.
You can pick the best thing. You can down this to make the opponent discard a card. with the Tamago effect. It's very solid game plan. Open Gate is a spell. It's fine. It's not good. Everything else is probably better. Ray is like, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, put them in any order on top or bottom, so you're fixing yourself for the long game. And if you're in a gate, you draw a card at the beginning of your attack phase. So it pays for itself, which is very good. It's a very good card. Hirana, on the other hand, your girl Hirana.
My girl Hirana.
You do love the Hiranas.
Love me my dumb redheads.
Dumb redhead who's a blue card.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, she just like, as long as she's on a gate, she gives target Signy -3k.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay for it, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like,
yeah, compared to war/struggle, you do have to use coins.
yeah. This is free.
This is just there.
This is free. You just get it free.
Yeah.
And then Bang arguably is like the best.
Your girl.
God, Bang's so good. I have a question though for anyone who's looking at this art real quick, and I'll zoom in just ever so slightly. Right? I'll do it this way so everyone can see it. How does she get her sword out of that scabbard?
Where's the opening? Wait, which side is the opening?
I think the side of the opening is the bottom.
The bottom?
Yeah. How did she get it out of there?
Oh man.
It's got that big spike. How do you pull it out?
Right, yeah. How do you pull that out? How do you put it back in?
No. I don't think that works.
Maybe it's one of those like pushing things. It's like one of those fake knives.
Oh, yeah.
So the blade end is actually not lethal. It's just there to be scary.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Or
you just push it in, pull it out, then it pops back out.
And I don't see any buckles, but theoretically it could be like a music case where you put it down and you like click and then
yeah, it could be also, yeah.
Which feels like not helpful in a battle that you may suddenly have, but whatever. Bang is really good card, so we're just gonna give her credit where credit's due. As long as she's in a Signy zone with a gate, she gains the ability at the beginning of your attack phase, your opponent discards a card from their hand.
Always good.
Always good. Discard, generally speaking, you have to pay for, like whether you're taking a card out of your hand or you're paying enter or something. Free discard is nuts, especially at level 2. Crazy. And then at the end of your turn, put target Signy on your opponent's field that's in front of a gate with that's in a Signy zone in front of a gate on the bottom of their deck.
Bottom decking again.
Yeah.
Wow. Jeez, I didn't know they had 2 options there.
Yeah, it's just they feed. I don't know if you guys know this. Enter starving and discarding your opponent feed real well into each other.
Yeah.
Because then what do? You draw 2. These are your only 2 cards. Your field is empty.
Yeah.
You don't have any enter. Okay, so I guess I have 1 card. I have one card now.
Yeah. Hopefully it's a guard. Yeah.
And then if it's a guard,
yeah.
It's the only card that you have. You can't. They're gonna make it. It's
exactly. There's no way out of this.
Downhill, man. And it's and both of these Wolf and Bang are 8Ks, which make them even harder to like. They're not 5Ks. They're not easy to vanish.
No, they're not.
So yeah. Factions. We did it.
Factions.
We're going long here, but we've got just a little bit left to talk about. There actually is 2 really. Normally we skip the assists because the assists are usually really bad. There's actually 2 really good assists in this set.
Oh.
Yeah, Remember and Honore.
Remember and Honore.
Yeah. So Remember's level 1s allow you to look at the top 4 cards of your deck, reveal a Signy that shares a color with your center Elrig, and a Signy that does not share a color with your center Elrig, and put them into your hand. Someone is going to need to correct me in the comments below. I don't know if that allows you to pull a guard. I think it allows you to because Signy that does not share a color. And I think no color counts in that scenario.
I thought they were all colors, or am I?
They're only all colors in the enter.
In the enter.
Because of the multi
thing.
Oh,
okay, multi-enter, right.
So I don't know if you can get a guard or not with this. Someone can tell me that below. I believe you can, and that's really good. White draw that allows you to get a guard is really nice. But also it's just a draw. It's a draw. Elrig, which is pretty good. The other one trashes. We haven't had this. really in white ever, and white would love this.
Mm-hmm.
Target a level 1 insignia on the opponent's field and just put it in the trash.
It's not bad, especially against a mirror.
Especially if you're a deck like, I don't know, defense that's trying to make the opponent not have resources. Feels like a good one.
Oh, not a mirror. Yeah, yeah.
But then I think it's Remember Astrology? Yeah, that one. Okay. That level 2 is actually really good. It costs 0 to grow, so completely free to grow.
Mm-hmm.
When it enters, you get to pick one. One. Target Signia on the opponent's field can attack till end of turn. Or you can choose instead to target a Signia on the opponent's field and pay white colorless, and if you do, return it to their hand.
That's also not bad. That's pretty good.
Pretty good. I mean, the whole shtick of it being is, are you playing a mid-range deck, a control deck that's giving you the enter, and you need the open lane because you're going long? This allows you to do it. Are you playing an aggro deck that you like, if you don't grow immediately, you will just lose this game in front of, like some kind of dash deck? Well, then you can pick the 0 color up, the 0 enter option. Because then you're like, I'm not wasting resources. I need to stop this damage now.
Right.
Break in case of emergency. Very good assist. Honoré, also a good assist. Level 1, spikes.
Level 1 spikes.
Put the top 2 cards of your deck into your trash, then target 2 Signy in your trash that share a color. So you can't get cards with this one, just to be clear, it has to share a color. And then you can put them directly onto the field.
It's not... Wow. Wow, okay.
So, yeah, you're and it doesn't have to be the 2 that you milled. Right. So it's pretty good late game...
As well, yeah.
Like, gas. Dark Sphere, I think, also just trashes Signy, right? Like, I don't know what it is here. Everyone loves trashing Signy. Yeah, when it enters, target a Signy on your opponent's field. If it would be vanished this turn, instead it goes to the trash, instead of the enter. Yeah. And then you also target and then target a Signy, give it negative 5k. So, trashing a Signy, in other words. No one wants enter anymore. You're not allowed to have enter.
No one's allowed to have enter.
The other one is the level 2 that's Forbidden Fang. This one is pretty good. It costs 1 colorless to grow. Level 2. Target a Signy on your opponent's field and it gets negative 12,000 power till end of turn.
A lot of things.
Gets rid of anything. The second enter is discard 3 cards from your hand, target a Signy on the opponent's field, and then take a Signy from your trash. Put it on the field as if it had no abilities. And then the end of that turn, you put that into the trash. So the idea here is this is the cheapest 2-stop we've ever seen in our life. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Madoka Clap stops 2 damage or 3 damage. But it costs 2 enter, plus you have to discard 2 cards. This costs 1 enter, and you have to discard 3 cards. But you stop 2 damage.
Yeah, you do.
And at worst, it's just a stop. It's a 1-stop, which is good anyways, for cheap. I think you're going to see this assist pretty much for the rest of time, for the time that we see assists.
Very cost efficient.
Yeah, and the fact that you can either choose to have card advantage or lane opening as its level 1, then also have this as its level 2, means that it's just a very versatile Elrig as well.
Yeah.
Those are the Elrig deck stuff we're going to see. I'm just going to quickly scroll over. I don't think there's really any Signy that are worth mentioning at this point. Yeah, there's no Signy worth mentioning at this point that aren't faction Signy. Theoretically, some of these Signy will be seen in the future because Japan is entering a meta where the card type matters, right? So something like an Atom or a Dragon or a Terra Beast, those things will matter in the future. As of right now, they don't. There's a couple of these that, like, in the future become pretty okay, but they don't matter right now, so it's not really worth mentioning.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it, man. We have 40 seconds before we hit the 1 hour mark.
What do we usually say?
I don't know. Tiffany's the one who usually ends it.
Oh no, I guess we're just here forever.
Yeah, oh god, you're stuck. You guys are stuck with us forever.
Like, I guess, I mean, aside from potential meta, which faction would you be in?
Well, I probably would be defense faction.
You'd be defense faction no
I
matter
do
what.
like war faction a lot, though. I am a sucker for green black in this game.
I think because my favorite color is green, and the purple is pretty nice too. But I'm also kind of a gambler, so maybe the coins would be
Coins are for you.
coins are for me. I think I'd be part of the war
All
faction.
right, man. Well, without any further ado, I guess we'll call it now that
Yeah.
we are 4 seconds into 1 hour. I hope everyone flips a life burst. Bye, everybody.
Bye.